Hi, I'm MonaLisa with Soul Navigators, and I'm here today with Kati of Alchemy and Motion, Intuitive Solutions, and we're here to rock your world in a spiritual upliftment. So, for you can discover more and more of who you truly are. So, she is going to ask my glorious spiritual team of over 100,000 angels and ascended masters um, questions, and they come in as source energy of love and light. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a few deep breaths and ask for the connection. Hello, 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 dear ones. We are XAND, and we are pleased to be here to dance with you in this moment, in this now, in this now, in this now, and throughout all realities. How can we be of service to you today?
Hi, Zan. Thank you so much for coming back and sharing this information with us and with all of our listeners. We truly appreciate it. And it's so interesting because what is on my mind today is who you truly are and how to explain that to our listeners. And what is your relationship to the beings from other planets, stars, or dimensions?
Mm. So, that is a glorious question, and we are so happy to answer that for you. We are what most people on your planet at this time would consider angels as we sit in the sixth dimension. Who sits in the sixth dimension, you say? Well, many, many beings from the whole entire all that there is in the universe sit in the sixth dimension. We sit, excuse us, it's not sixth dimension, the sixth density. There's a difference between dimensions and densities. And so, let us explain what densities are. So, as one spirals towards source, in the first density, you have the density of elements. And as they correlate, they come together and they create the fire, the earth, the wind, and the air. And they may come together as a star. They may come together as a planet. And eventually, you have your solar systems, and you have your galaxies. Mm, and so, and at the basic level, this is first density consciousness. Density is, you could say, another word for consciousness. Mm. And so, in the first density consciousness, there is not the awareness that comes from third density and on. Second density, you can think of it as plants, as your animals that inhabit mm, um, your third density Earth. And so then you have your third density Earth, and all third density planets throughout creation, throughout the universe, is the time of that we consider the time of choice. You may choose. You may choose to service yourself, or you may choose to service others, or you may not make a choice. And then not making a choice is a choice. So, so then you say, um, how does one, and you often look at it on, meaning you as a collective often look at those who decide to serve themselves are of the negative polarity. We would say they are of all that there is as well. They are God in motion, as well as you are, and they have chose that path. And so the path of those who might consider it negative illuminates those who choose the path of the light, of the service to others. And so this is the time of the great awakening on your planet. This is the time, that third density. So there is a time that each mm, planetary collective has a chance to go into what you would consider fourth density. Earth and the planet at this time has chosen to go into fourth density, meaning those on third density they are deciding which path to take, and maybe they do not decide. Mm, maybe they will be reborn in another third density planet. Maybe they will be born um, in a third density Earth that has chosen to stay that way. But so the third density is a density where we call them densities due to the amount of light that comes in. So down in third density, there is not as much light as in fourth density. And in fourth density, you have the density where there is more light. And it is the density also that you realize time and distance does not really exist. So in fourth density is also the density we call love. It is the density that you learn as you spiral toward the light of all that there is of love. And densities normally take, depends on each planetary collective is totally different. Here on Earth, your timelines is about 25,000 years in a certain density, and it has been in the third density, and then you were the density of repeaters and of repeaters again and again. Um, so you've been in this third density, we would say actually longer than most third density planets are. Mm, so once a planet collective goes from third density, then they are born after your death. You are born into fourth density. Fourth density lets in more light, and it is the density of love. It is the density that you no longer see time and distance as linear, and you sit more in the heart space. And as you go up mm, the ladder, you have your fifth density, and fifth density is more in love, and you also gather more wisdom, and more light gets in. As you go up, more light gets in. And sixth density is the density where you land when you wake up from this dream in what you call across the veil. So this is sixth density. This is also the density that many beings have let so much light in that they are here, and our lives would be what you would consider eternal beings. And so this is the sixth density, that of which you can play. You can play with who and what you are, and what you're doing, and become a guide to others. You can the universe is your playground, let's say, versus just the planet. So that is who we are. We are of sixth density, and we are a collective of beings. And some of us are ascended masters, and so they have lived on the planet, and they have had their awakening. And so some of us um, are also of not of what you would call human human origins, meaning that we have not been on the planet. We were born, and we've been playing out in the cosmos, and we don't look quite human to you, but we would also say that that we may not look human to you, but we would say humans aren't quite fully human either.
So that's that's wonderful. That's the best description I have heard, I think, in my entire with my journey over the past 15 years. Thank you so much for that. Um, so does that mean that these interplanetary or extraterrestrial beings originate from consciousness too, and not space?
Correct. We will have you remember that all that there is, even other planets and other beings, are all that there is. There is none outside of all that there is. If they're in this multi omni universe, mm, all streams from all that there is. And so all desire to spiral upward toward the creator. Mm, yes, so we are all part of the channel uses the word one consciousness as all a part of source. There is no such thing as outside of source.
Wow. And do these beings have physical forms, some of them, or do they exist primarily as energy or frequency?
Mm. So we would say all beings are energy frequency. So all beings have a soul consciousness, and you can desire to look at it that way. And so all beings are equal, whether born on this planet or not. And so all beings are a radiate at a frequency, and they have a your light, and your light is your true form as your soul sits across the veil and with us. So we might be having this conversation with you, and you understand we can be easily across the veil having a conversation with your higher self. So, so look at it that way, and then so we just see you that we understand that you have put a sliver of your consciousness asleep to have this beautiful 3D density experience that we call the field trip. And the reason why we call it the field trip is because the experience is very, very real, and it helps to grow your soul. Mm. So, so we also would like to clarify that um, those of us in fourth, fifth, and sixth density, we feel we have a body. It is just so much filled with light. The more light there is, the more light there is, um, the more that we are out of frequency to your eyes here in third density. But understand, we still feel like we have a body. We still feel embodied. And so then you say, there are consciousness that are just consciousness. And in a sense, that is true with anyone across the veil. They can feel like that. They can go into mm, the bliss of all that there is. And then they come back into their own self, into their own consciousness. And so, yes, so you will still feel like you when you get to heaven. Mm. And so let's say a person of 99 years old passes and goes across the veil. Well, people don't really want to be in a crooked body, all in pain and agony on the other side, and they will think to themselves, "Hey, I kind of liked myself at 30 years old," and next thing you know, they are feeling like they are 30 years old, and they look and feel like them in a 30-year-old body. At the same token, we will remind you that your spirit, which is always a part of you, does not age, because it is with all that there is. And when you pass, you the sliver of consciousness that was in a dream state mm, slips right back into your eternal soul that you are. And at that point, you become a soul. And so we would say that aliens aren't really aliens. And you did not evolve from um, uh, the various forms of apes or monkeys. And as we have told this channel, if you did, you would still be like Sasquatch and Bigfoot. So Sasquatch and Bigfoots and those know how to go into different frequencies because they weren't taught that they could not. They weren't given instructions from the collective. They can't do this or they can't do that. So they learn how to phase in and phase out. So they can be hidden from human eyes and points of view. So as they go about the planet. Mm, so who are humans? Humans. Many on the planet at this time know the story of the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are not, we would say, bad guys. The Anunnakis came. They wanted certain minerals for the planet. Um, and so they took some hominids at this time and they infused their DNA, but also understand they were master geneticists and they didn't do this alone. They incorporated help. And so now you have the genes, the gene pool. mm, um, uh, Today from various what you can consider extraterrestrials, whether they are Palladians, or whether they are Arcturians, whether they are Lyrans. We would say the Lyran beings were part of the very first biped that came to the planet, and they lived in what you consider Mu at this time. And so they lived across the ocean from the Atlanteans, and they were the peace dwellers. They considered themselves part of the Pleiades, and and they were the peace dwellers. And then you have the Atlanteans that came, and they were of masculine, and so the opposite of those of Mu, who were very spiritualist. And so in this way, they did clash. But you have the marrying of the polarities at that point um, of the good and the bad, of the spiritual and the non-spiritual, and you began your human race um, in many senses in that form, in that fashion.
Well, I think you answered like five of my questions that I was going to ask you. So, what is the purpose of these beings making contact or communicating with humanity? And are they constantly observing us, interacting with us, or guiding us in unseen ways?
Mm. Yes, because they are you. So many are uncomfortable with this thought that they are your future selves in a matter of speaking. But once again, we would say that's not exactly true because there is no such thing as the future. They are they are you as part of your oversoul is experiencing. So your oversoul does not just experience his lives here in third density. Your oversoul also has lives in fourth, fifth, and sixth densities for the experience, the culmination of experience for the for what you consider the great awakening of consciousness, for the uplifting of consciousness, not just of yours but all. So as your soul awakens, your past lives, it kind of has a ripple effect through time, if you will. Because remember, time is not really real. So it ripples not just in the past, they may not realize you are having an awakening or what's happening, but their consciousness is uplifted. In this way, you actually change the past from the future. And so also, as you have this glorious effect, as the higher your consciousness goes, then it also waves, vibrate in all directions including your fourth, fifth, and sixth density self. And why would they not want to help you if they are you? If you can imagine, if you can imagine a hand is your oversoul, and the fingers from it are your past lives and future lives, and you are the middle one. Why would you not help your fellow brother and sister become all that they can, especially when one knows after third density, the greatest thing they can do is to be of service, to be of service to others, to be of service to others through that which ignites them and which celebrates who they are. And so, as many make contact, and it's many have a contract that's made on the other side. Hey, I'm you from your fifth density self, and I will. Maybe the contract could be as simple as I will guide you. I will be a spirit guide. Maybe the contact is, oh, I will be a channel. I will let you channel me. Maybe the contract is that I will I will peep in on you from time to time to make sure that you're headed down the right path and give you some synchronicities if you're going in the right direction, or maybe some synchronicities if you're going in the wrong direction as well. So there would be like a red light, stop signs, like don't go this way, and normally that comes in the that comes from the feelings, it comes from the heart, it comes from the intuition, and it is not of the mind. So it is the mind who says, I am going to do this, and I am going to forge this way no matter what. And we say, is that what the heart wants? Is that what the spirit wants? Is that what the soul craves? That is what matters. That path, the path of the heart. The path of the heart is what is going to get you from A to Z, and not the path of the mind.
Wow. How do we, given all that, and if I'm listening to this correctly, we're talking about sixth density being complete love and light and all of that. How is it, or how do we tell? Maybe funny question, but when we come across like an extraterrestrial or interdimensional being, do we expect them all to be benevolent, or do some of them have different intentions? Like,
Ye-
just
yes, so we would say approximately 5% have the different intentions. So, think of it. Think of all the souls throughout the galaxy. 5% is not that great of a percent, mm, and it does fluctuate some. But so there are some, and so who are they? And so these were just collectives that have decided we're going to go in this direction, service to self, to see how much energy we can take, how we can manipulate other souls, and this kind of thing. And so what is their end game? Their end game is just it's a control. It's a control. It's a control of self. It's a control. It's an illusion. It's illusion of control, because at a certain point at the end of fifth density, they're going to be hitting a wall. They cannot go, you cannot spiral to source, which is an innate thing. It's an innate, it's a built in. We all want to spiral towards source. So at the end of their, if one decides in third density to play the game of self, to put themselves first and to say, I'm going to live this path. This is my chosen path. Mm, so if this is their chosen path to do such, then they will be born in fourth density after they have made their decision, and they will live out normally It's very low percentage in number, those who get out in fourth density. But at some point in their fifth density, they hit what you would call a wall, and they can't go any further. They cannot spiral towards source because only that of love and light can spiral towards source. So they finally see that that playing the bad guy maybe not the way to go. Maybe it's time to see what the other side's doing and to dip their toes in. Maybe they can change in an instant if they decide to. Maybe it might take lives for them, incarnations. Mm, and so they begin the karma back to self, the karma back to the light.
Wow. So how do we, especially people who are new to their awakening and just learning and on this journey, how do we recognize when we're in contact with a being of truth, light, or integrity versus that 5%?
Number one, it's always how you feel. Mm, you can instantly feel if a being is of love and light or not. It's an instant knowing. And so we would say, go with that instinct. Your higher self knows. And if it's not a instant instinct for you, take a deep breath in and ask. And always seek counsel. If you don't know if that being is of love and light, you can ask others. Seek counsel for those who might know. So if you can know how to trust your higher self, which is one of the things that we recommend is one of the most important things you can do while you're in third density is learn how to communicate with your higher self. So once you communicate to your higher self, you can say, um, whatever that is you feeling, I feel unsafe. I feel like this is negative. This is dark. And you will know immediately. We would say there is those who are still not attuned to their intuition, and they will not know. And these are the ones that we highly, highly recommend that they seek counsel, that they seek advice from those of love and light, and to ask. Hey, I saw an entity in my room. Is this entity positive or negative? And there are many ways to seek counsel. One could have a hypnotherapy session and talk to their higher selves or to their elder counsel about this. One could go on a plethora of media and say, hey, this is the being or the beings that I ran into. Are they of love and light and love? But at this time, know that the mass majority are those of light and love that are coming to the planet at this time to wake mm, those up to their galactic selves, to the galactic brother and sister, and to welcome you into the cosmos. That's what they're doing here. That's what they're trying to let you see, that we are you and you are us, and we are one family. Let's play together. Let's play. Let's create. Let's create. Let's create a glorious future together, like one in your glorious Star Trek movies. Let's create that future together. Let's create that future.
Wow. So, what role have interplanetary beings played in Earth's ancient civilizations, such as like Egypt and Atlantis? Like, what is their primary role?
Mm. To birth it, and we would say it would be different for each. So in the time of Atlantis, you have those that were very aware of consciousness and high energy. And then you have those of Egypt that came to try to bring in the balance. So at that point in the time of Egypt, the humans were already what we would consider out of balance because they uh, had master slave races. and they believed in gods, mm, and the majority were told what to do and what to think, and their lives were shortened. And so you had those beings coming in of love and light, like ourselves, trying to teach, trying to show consciousness, trying to show the way, if you will, towards the sovereignty of the self. And we would say it wasn't well received in the time of Egypt. It wasn't well received at all. The high priest and the priestess tried to close the doors and keep it for themselves. It wasn't shared amongst the people.
So, why are so many people remembering or awakening to galactic origins now?
Because they are you, because they are you in that's so this is the time of that you are about to enter into the galactic family. And so you are entering into the galactic family. It is already a done deal. Mm, and so it is like who for the masses. So do you understand that your galactic family, certain branches have been here for a very, 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 very long time. So you have a branch of the tall whites here. You might have a branch of the Palladians over there, and they might be in ships out of phase above. And so they are all cheering, 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 cheering. You you got this. You got this. Why? Why? Because Earth is at a pivotal point. It is going into fourth density with or without you. And fourth density is the density of more light. It is the density of love. It is the density where you can see across time. It's a bigger playground for souls to inhabit and to live. And who wouldn't want a bigger playground like the stars, the planets? Who wouldn't want a bigger playground? So
Is,
as a collective, you are beginning to innately desire that bigger playground.
is there a timeline or like a potential future in relation to shifting to that bigger playground?
So, as all things on earth, it is. We say it is happening. There is at this point a potential of something big happening. At the we don't it is difficult to say depending on the Earth, but we would say approximately, give or take, at the beginning of 2028. But we have stated in the past different dates, and know that this date can shift. It can shift to earlier, it can shift to later. And the shift are we talking about? We are talking about just just those that have their ships out of orbit coming in closer so you can see them on more of a mass scale so that they can't be hidden anymore, and so that others can see, not to be afraid of them. You can just look at them in the sky like they did during the Atlantean times, like they did during the Egyptian times, and say, oh, that's just my sky brother. That's just my sky brother. So many indigenous um, look at it that way. They know they are coming. It's been foretold. And when they see them, they will say, that is just my sky brother and sister.
So, will there be like a mass contact or disclosure in our lifetime? And what kind of conditions would that occur?
Mm. So do understand that that we see it has already been done, and we see it has already been done. It depends on the positive earth vibration that in the moment that you vibrate to. So yes, there is will be a mass disclosure in your lifetime. Absolutely, positively, we would say within uh, 3 years, give or take.
Wow, that's exciting. So, how can humans prepare their minds and hearts for safe, clear, and loving contact with non Earth beings?
So this goes to the vibration, goes to your energy field. It goes to who you are. The more one sits in positive energy, sits in love, mm, and the one higher has awakened on in their awakened journey. So to be um, self-realized is 51% sitting in your heart. And we often say all what that means is to have love for yourself and for others, non-judgmentally, unconditionally, at least 51% of the time. It's not like the end all get all. And so once you get there, you can begin to have a heart full of compassion. It's and sit in mm, gratitude. Gratitude is one of the things that can bring up your vibration the most. Why do you want to bring up your vibration? Because the higher you vibrate, mm, the more when you're, let's say, mm, uh, the Palladians, the Palladians come in first, and the Palladians can come in. Maybe you will get a Palladian in fifth density. Know that they vibrate really high, and it will feel, mm, it will startling to you. If you are not used to that vibration, it can startle you. You can feel like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I feel. Uh, that type of vibration. But if you know, oh, they are just vibrating higher, and this is what's happening because my frequency is lower. So this is why there has been so much talk about sitting in the heart space more and more by following your positive energy stream so that your resonance isn't such as one that it is startling or scary to you, but it is more of one of I know you. We vibrate at the same frequency.
Speaking of frequencies, if you go on and like a lot of people go to YouTube and there'll be different meditations and such and set to different frequencies, like maybe like they'll say, healing and love is 432 hertz, or there's another one that comes on for abundance, which is maybe at the 800 level. How do you
Mm,
know which frequency is the best to really, meditate to or play in the background or really start attuning yourself to?
mm. So we would say each and every soul puts out a frequency, a vibration. And those frequencies and vibrations that feel good to you, that feel good, are the ones that are pleasant to you. And these are the ones that we would begin to open up to and to play in your background. Know that each and every energy center vibrates separately. So then you get to those, like the channel has a set of sound bowls for from head to toe, for toe and head. Sound frequencies are can be very, very healing. Mm. So is there one particular one that kind of is for each and every person? We would say it's more individualized upon your frequency where you are at and what you need. And the best way to do this is to be open and to play with these frequencies. You can hear a frequency and it it's like chalk on a chalkboard. That frequency means that you don't need it. Either you're not ready for that frequency, you don't need it, you don't want it. That's a stop sign. If it's a frequency that touches your heart and it's soothing and it's good for you, then you will know it by the feel. Go into the field. Each and every soul is a frequency being. Each and every energy center puts out a frequency. Mm, we call this your Merkaba. Your Merkaba vibrates. So when you pass over, we will know who you are by the vibration of your Merkaba. And so for thousands and thousands of years, humans have vibrated in the lower third chakras, mm, of the red, orange, and yellow. And so when you crossed over, that is what we saw. We saw it by your frequency. And each and every soul is like a fingerprint. You vibrate, your unique soul, who you are for all eternity, vibrates very uniquely, kind of like what you would consider your face, your personality to be. Mm, and so these frequencies are very, very important. They can help you heal. If you open up to them and you listen to them, they can heal the soul. And this is the time on your planet that you're all realizing that the mind, body, and soul work together. They work as one. The mind, body, and soul need to work as one. It's kind of like a trinity. So all trinities, like this one, is a good thing. But for millennia, your so many people were so heavy on the a mind, or so heavy on the body, and such little attention was given to the soul, to your spirit. And now it's time that it's all balancing out. And we say it's about time. Congratulations. Congratulations. It is glorious.
Wonderful. So, are altered states such as meditation, sleep, or near death used as portals for contact? And is there a universal frequency or vibration that we can use to connect with beings of light?
Mm, the universal vibration that we can say would be that of love, that of gratitude. So, yes, so that vibration of that love and gratitude put out is the frequency. That's it. Don't make it any more complicated than that. Mm, so, so meditation, we would say through meditation is the number one way you will be able to contact your brothers and sisters of light, of whether they are angels on the other side, or whether they are ET brothers and sisters on the other side.
So, how can we discern truth from illusion, both in channeling and in claims made about alien beings?
Mm. So once again, we would check the heart, go with their intuition. One knows if it is one's truth for that soul or not. And what's true for you may not be true for another. Let us give us an example. Mm, the other day, the channel ran across someone who said a certain ascended master told me to do these negative things, and and the channel realized no matter how many times she said ascended master of love and light would not suggest those negative pathways, suggest that negative thing, that they only stand in true love and true light. Mm, and she sat down and she contemplated it, and she realized that that person had mm, projected that ascended master herself, because that is how you see your world, through your projection, through your through your eyes, through your perception. And she had created that extended master saying that to her. She did it to herself. And that was an aha moment. And she realized that that person was being a creator God in that moment, and created that ascended master being negative, and using her creative energy in that way. Mm, and we would say if it's negative, you understand whether it's a um, if it's negative, then it is of the body. It is of the body. It is, if it's fear based, anxiety, then you know it's of the mind. You know it's of the lower frequencies. And that's what you're really asking. How do we know if it's a true channeling, or how do we know if it's false? If it's false or negative, the way that you perceive negative, because once again, we would say there's really no such thing. We would say if it's of the lower frequencies, if it is of the lower frequencies, that which is dark, that which is fear based, that which brings up anxiety uh, control in any way, that is what you would consider false teaching. That would you consider not not real. So how do you know true channeling from that of illusion? We would say that, dear one, is up to each and every soul to decide the truth for themselves, and it has to do with their perception and where they are at. It doesn't mean that they might not having an event tomorrow, or they might hear something like this channel talking and say, oh my gosh, she has gone off the deep end. And then maybe an event will happen to them on the very next day. And they come back to it because there was something there. There was something there. And that which drove them back to it would be the light, would be the truth that's deep buried within their soul. So how do you know if it's true? How do you know if it's not true? How does it feel in the heart? How does it feel in the heart? How does it ring on your truth?
Okay, thank you. So, are there forces that seek to manipulate this awakening or distort the messages from the stars? And
Yes.
okay, and will you tell us more about that? And should we be cautious as more people open to interdimensional contact?
Mm. As a collective, so why there are so many here, we want to awaken you to the love and to the light of all that there is. And as you focus on the love and the light of all that there is, that is all that will come to you. And let the lower vibrations go. The lower vibrations, like entities that are here, are those that are fighting to keep control. Those are fighting to keep those that are asleep, for lack of better terms in your earth vocabulary, asleep. Mm. So, and we would say that is their game that they are playing. Why are they playing this game? It's just a control game. It's just the game that they chose to play. And those who look toward the light, look toward the positive, look toward the heart, look toward all that there is, and accept that God isn't a single individual, but there is nothing outside of God, not a human being, not an alien, not a blade of grass, not a tree, not a being, not a creature great and small. All is part of all that there is.
That's beautiful. Well, I was going to ask you, but I think you just answered it. What do you want humanity to know right now, above all else, regarding our place in the universe? But I feel like you've answered that. Do you want to add anything more to that?
Mm, we would say go forward in your heart. Go forward and follow your positive energy stream. And the reason why we said positive energy stream is because let's say I enjoy taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor. That is a break in contract when you chose to come into third density. Because when you came into third density, you said there are certain moral standards and I will stand by them. And just because there's part of your mind that gets a little enjoyment of taking money from the rich and giving to the poor, it doesn't make it right. But you say, well, that's my I feel good about it. Well, you've broken the caveat, if you will, of your moral contract. So we say go within. Each and every one of you have a moral compass. Each and every one of you have a compass that points you in the direction of your soul light, of your eternal soul, of who you are and what you are. You are beyond any human words and description. You are eternal. Your brother and sisters of the galaxy that are starting to visit this planet come to you with open hearts and open minds. And you, at this time, as you sit in love and light, no need to be fearful of those that don't. As long as you keep your head turned toward gratitude and love, you have nothing to fear. You will go automatically into those earths with love and light and higher vibrations. You switch earth billion times a second, our dear ones. Grasp it. Go in the direction of the heart and gratitude. Do not, do not feed or let fear feed into you. Know that fear is not real. Fear is an illusion because it is created in this field of less light than the creator. And how do you know if it's real or how do you know if it's an illusion? If it's real, it's eternal. Your soul is real, it's eternal. Your experiences are real, they are eternal. That is how you know what is real and what is an illusion. We leave you now in the love and light of all that there is, of the infinite creator, as your brother and sisters on the other side from sixth density. And we are here to also say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for allowing us this moment. Thank you for allowing us into this now. Thank you, and thank yourself. Thank yourself for listening and for being here and for being a part of this, because just our tone brings in a certain resonance, a certain truth that will vibrate you to even higher heights. So it
Thank you, Zan.
is, so it is, so it is.
So grateful. My goodness. Wow. Do you remember any of that?
Right now I do. And so you can ask me questions in 15 minutes. It's like a dream. Yeah.
Wow. A lot of information. My goodness. That was, oh, good. I could even go even further on that, but it's just each step I feel is like just a clearer message to especially our clients that are just beginning their journeys as well. And even so, like for me, I've been doing this for what, 15 years now almost, and really truly just hearing it that way, I got a better understanding of
I think that's one of the reasons why I'm a channel, because, born with dyslexia, spoke half I did speak my words backwards growing up. I remember the first time I wrote a sentence as a teacher on the blackboard, I wrote it perfectly backwards. Before my students came in, I had to erase it and write it right. So they said I use language that keeps it real. And so I don't use the same language that you're going to get with certain beings that come in, because I have to use what's in my bank, what's in my language bank.
it.
And so they have to use uh, for instance, there are channelers that get really in the nitty gritty and those high scientific words, but if I don't have them in my language banks, I can't speak it. So yeah, and
Well, I
so
mean,
they said I
that
was
makes
for the
sense. Like,
math.
times there's like times when I feel like when I'm channeling, in session, where I'm just like, and I'm just like, give me the words. I have to ask for the words, and then they
Yeah,
come. But it's just like it's not like I'm afraid of the words or anything like that. But it's just that maybe that's why, because they're just not in the bank at that
yeah,
time.
yeah. They said I was a channeler for the masses, and I was a channeler for the healers, um, and the teachers. Um, but like if someone's really, really into mathematical stuff, well, that's not my gig. They're going to have to go somewhere else to get the mathematical formulas because I don't have it in my bank. I don't have the words in my bank.
I I was been communities together. Like,
Hmm.
think about
Yeah,
that. I'm like, how does that happen? But then if I
yeah.
look back,
So,
it did.
so really briefly before we stop the recording, what is the one arcing message that you got from it? Um, uh, what I got was just higher vibration. Go that way.
Love and gratitude, the universal language, and that we're not alone. I love that we're not alone, and that more people. It felt like to me that there is, well, the Great Awakening. That's what they called it. There's more
Mhm.
happening, and I choose to focus on that than the political stuff happening in this the third density world. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it was. Thank you.
Oh, bye, audience.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
see you next.
audience. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We need our own session though.
Yeah.
So